to stay with her sister, who was married to my dad's brother Andrew. And my dad went to college. When he came over, he went to Chicago first and worked there, and then he went to Rockford, Illinois, and worked in a furniture store there. And they put him on a job to sandpaper a piece of furniture, fine sand, real fine, expensive furniture. And they had him sanding on that damn thing for 2 weeks. And every so often they'd come in and, how are you doing? Yeah, my dad says, I'm all done. Well, you just keep at it, he says. You're doing fine. Just keep sanding it. And he'd come and check him every once in a while. And it was 2 weeks he sanded on that fine, fine furniture. Finally, my dad said, that's enough. He says, I've been through with this job a week ago already. And I'm quitting. I'm not doing any more work on this piece of furniture. So he quit. Then he went out to Homestead in Colorado. And his 2 brothers were already out there. And the 3 of them decided they would each take a piece of land and homestead it. So they each got a quarter, I think, of land there in Lyman, Colorado. Or you can, Hugo is the next little town next to it. Hugo or Lyman, I don't know. Anyway, each got a piece of land, but they had to live on there 3 years to get it for nothing from the government. So they dug a big square hole in the ground, and that's square anyway, and covered. They went down about 6 feet, and 8 feet, and covered it with boards, and they lived in there for a couple of years. So no money, but they lived in there. Yeah. And I suppose they had a couple dollars that he earned, in Rockford, Illinois, but no money to speak of. And they lived in there, and my dad told me so damn many rattlesnakes. When they'd get up in the morning, they'd get their rifles out and shoot the rattlesnakes so they could get out of the pit. It was tough going. Yeah. Yeah, and then he met my mother, and they started going together. My dad's name at that time was John Johnson from Sweden. And there were 3 other John Johnsons living in the same area. And my dad would write letters to my mother, and love letters, I suppose, and they'd get to the wrong Johnson. And my dad says, I don't want that. So he went to Denver and had his name changed to Ross. And now when you go to Sweden, there's a big sign in front of where he came from that says Ross Place. That's where he got the Ross from. Anyway, they got married out there in 1915. And then he moved to Windham and started working for his brother-in-law, John, Mary Hoffman's husband, John Hoffman. I think his name was John. Could have been. He had a tailor shop in Windham. He worked there and he learned the trade. He got to be a very good professional tailor. He would make complete suits from scratch. They'd go out to the farmer and show him. They only had 3 patterns of cloth. Farmer would pick out the one he wanted. It was either black, dark blue, or they had another one. I forget the name of that, worsted, the shark skin or something. I forget what it was. Anyway, that's all they had, 3 patterns. And then if they wanted to buy a suit, my dad would measure them all up. And then he said, we'll have it ready for you in a year. So we'd take back to Windham and they'd make him a suit. They made a suit for one guy, my dad told me, and they had it all done. And my dad found $300 in the vest pocket. That guy brought in a suit to make a pattern, old suit, worn out suit, make a pattern, but he had $300. So my dad took that out, and when the guy come to get his suit, my dad says, "Here's some money I found in your vest pocket." And the guy didn't say nothing. He took the money and put it in his pocket. My dad says, didn't say thank you or nothing.
Jeez.
He just took it.
Huh.
My dad didn't quite get over that. He says, I wish he would have said thank you, you know.
That's the least.
Because my dad was honest enough, he could easily put it in his own pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my dad was very honest, very honest. No, if there was a penny somewhere, he'd see that he got where it belonged. He was very honest. Anyway, he moved to Wyndham, and then they bought a home there. And he lived there a while, and then he got rid of that, and he bought another home. He did this 4 times in Wyndham. We lived in 4 different houses. But the one I remember was on the river. So we'd just go out the back door, and there was a river. We'd ice skate there in the winter, and I remember that. I stayed there till I was about 6 years old. And then, I don't know why they did that, but his brother Gus, August, talked him into buying a farm together a mile north of Delft. So they did that. And then my dad and Max wasn't born yet, but my 2 brothers and sister, Judy and Art and Bear, we went out to the farm north of Delft. We lived there for a year. And the boys went to school in Delft. I didn't. I was too young. And that didn't work out. There wasn't enough money to support my family, his family, so he said, I'm going to go to Mountain Lake. There's nobody there, and they need a tailor, and I'll start a tailor shop, and I don't have any dry cleaning equipment, but the trains go to Wyndham back and forth just about every hour. So anybody brings in something they want dry cleaned, I'll put it in a big sack, a cloth sack, and put it on the train, send it to Wyndham, they'll dry clean it, send it back to me. I'll repair whatever's necessary and I'll press it. I had a pressing machine, but no dry cleaning. And he did that for a number of years. But when he came to Mountain Lake, he didn't have no money to start that tailor shop, so he went to the bank and he borrowed $200. And that got him started. And people kept coming in. He made some money, and the banker came in and he says, Banker Schrader here in Mountain Lake, he says, John, I'd like to loan you some more money. He says, I know you can use it. My dad says, I can use it, but I won't borrow anymore. I think I can make it with what I got. And he never did borrow anymore. Yeah, we lived there. That's where the Co-op Oil Garage is right now. There was a big building there. In fact, there was a whole block-long building there. It was called the Glass Block. It was all glass for half a block. It was a department store. And the owner, he was a tight son of a gun. I know I had a penny, and I don't know how old I was then. I suppose, let's see, 6, 7, 8, maybe. Anyway, I went in, he had candy in the case. He had these teardrop chocolates. Can you remember them? Chocolate pieces?
Oh, yeah.
They were teardropped.
Yeah.
And I pointed at that, I gave him the penny I want. So he looked at me and he went in, he got a sharp knife, he cut one of them teardrop candies in half and gave it to me. He was a tight bastard, I tell you. Well, anyway, after that, he rented that building. And it worked out good. It was a pretty big building. He lived in half of it and the tailor shop in the other half. And then there was a building across the street for sale. So my dad bought that and fixed it up, put a bathroom upstairs and reshingled it, and he had a tailor shop there until 1937. And then there was a brick building, which is now Ross Cleaners building, and it was Depression. It was 1937, and there was a guy living in there, run a grocery store in Mountain Lake, Schendel's Grocery Store. He had a nice grocery store, but he went broke, I guess, couldn't make it, so he was living in the Ross Cleaners building as a house. So he moved to Fairmont or somewhere. He moved out of town. And the owner of that building was a Mr. Nickel. And he came in to see my dad and he says, "John, I want you to buy this building." My dad says, "Oh, I can't afford that building." He says, "Yes, you can. I'll make it so you can. Because I like you and I want you to have this building. You and your family." Well, my dad says, "What can I do? I don't have enough money, and well, I'll see that you can borrow enough money, and you can buy it, and I'll sell it to you for, let me see, what is it? I think it was $1,300. But it was Depression, you know, it was tough. But that was a buy. And my mother said, "Oh, we got to have it, John." He said, "We got to have that building." And it was just like heaven to move from where we were to that building. We lived upstairs, you know, it was nice up there. Anyway, that worked out. Then he started a dry cleaning business. Well, before that, he bought a dry cleaning machine in 1934. And he used synthetic cleaning solvent. It was carbon tetrachloride, it was called, a solvent. And then we moved up to perchloroethylene solvent, and then he moved to the Ross Cleaners building, and we used it there for a while. It made everybody sick. It was poison. And so we decided to build a Stoddard solvent dry cleaning machine. But the state wouldn't let him do it. He said, "You got to be that far away from your building. It's got to be explosion-proof building, explosion-proof lights and everything." So that's that building next to Ross Cleaners. So he did. He built it. And then he ordered a new cleaning machine, all the equipment to do dry cleaning in there. You remember that, don't you?
I worked in there too myself, yeah.
And Bayer, well, I helped too, but Bayer and we installed all the equipment in there ourselves.
Pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah. Bayer was good at plumbing too. And that lasted a long time. I think, well, it lasted till Bayer quit, 80.
Oh.
I think he quit and moved to Minneapolis in 1980, something like that.
Oh, back in
Yeah.
college days, I came home and
Yeah.
worked in there,
Mm-hmm.
cleaned. Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of business too.
Yeah, this Mr. Schendel that had that grocery store that used to live in Ross Cleaners, we bought all the groceries there, and we charged him. And that guy trusted my dad. He wouldn't charge to hardly anybody, but he did trust my dad, so we could charge groceries. And we had run up quite a bill, and Mr. Schendel says, "Well, I should have some money, John. You owe me this much." And John says, "Well, I don't know if I can give you all of it right today, but I will pay it to you." Well, then Mr. Schendel says, "How about, would you take a pig in trade for what you owe me?" "Yeah," my dad says, "I will," because we were all living together and we had to have something to eat. So he cleaned that pig and dressed it out and brought it over to our house, the whole pig. My dad took a saw and cut it all up in pieces and salted it. There was no refrigeration, you know, so we ate a whole pig that winter. Oh, a lot of stories to tell. No, I remember one time I wanted a watermelon so bad. God, I thought, gee, it was Sunday, and that store was closed. They sold watermelons in there. They had a grocery store. I asked my dad, can I go over to Mr. Epps' house and ask, I had a lot of guts in those days too, ask Mr. Epp if he would come down to the store and sell us a watermelon. My dad says, I don't think he'll do it. Well, I says, I'll find out. So I went to his house. Sure, Don, he says, I'll take you down to the store and pick out a big watermelon, cold one. So I did, and I charged it then, and Mr. Epp, he charged to us. I brought it home, big watermelon, a hot summer day, boy, we had watermelon. Yeah, we charged a lot, and finally Mr. Epp said he was going to quit charging to people. He says, you got too many people, they don't collect, he says they won't pay, so I'm going to cut off all charging. Except, he says, for a couple people, and John, you're one of them, you can charge all you want. Send your kids over, charge. No, my dad says, I won't charge anymore. Yes, I want you to, Mr. Epps says, I want you to come and charge freely. You see, he was just across the alley. No, my dad says that's the end of that because I can pay cash now. So we will still buy all your groceries there, but we'll pay cash. And you never charge again. Yeah. That was kind of funny. Yeah.
That was the
Epps store, it's called.
kind of across from where the post office is today.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, where the theater was.
Yeah.
Next door.
And then
Yeah.
that turned into just a clothing store after a while, didn't it?
Yeah. It was. And the theater, I remember the theater in 1937. Mountain Lake was against theaters. But George Schrader owned a theater and he didn't care. He was going to run movies. And it was Sunday, and he ran Gone with the Wind, 1937. And I went. It was Sunday afternoon. He showed that movie.
Yeah.
That's quite a movie.
So there were people going to the theater, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not all of them. A lot of them, you know, they were against movies.
Yeah,
That was the devil's box, you know.
Well, then Dean Scheid bought that, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But movies were 10 cents. And popcorn was 5 cents. A big bag of buttered popcorn, 5 cents.
Yeah.
And I used to, the owner of the movie at that time, George Schrader, his son, Laverne, they called him Muggs. He had a nickname, Muggs. He and I were buddies. And he says, Don, you want to make some money? And he says, get a big cardboard box, put a rope on each end, hang it around your neck. And you know, people came to town on Saturday nights, you could hardly find a place to park. He filled that up with popcorn bags. He says, you go from car to car and sell popcorn. And I sold a lot of popcorn.
That's all right.
And I don't know how much I got paid, but I got paid for it. Every one I sold, I got so much.
That was around the park.
You know, I don't know if any kids would do all that work anymore. That was work, though.
Yeah.
But that way I got to talk to lots of people, and I wasn't intimidated. And I'd just go up to the car, no matter who they were, and I'd say, hi there. I said, you want to buy some popcorn? I said, you got a good deal on popcorn. And I sold a lot of popcorn.
Yeah.
And that was good training for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I learned a lot of
So they
how
came
to
in.
deal with people
I remember the stores were open on Saturday when I was growing up.
till midnight.
Oh, till midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So things were going on in the park, maybe too, or because people came into town.
Mm-hmm.
And the park was a center of attraction.
Yeah.
Did the band play and that kind of thing, or
Oh yeah.
entertainment?
No, Lake had a band.
Oh.
They'd play in the park have a concert at the park on Saturdays nights and maybe another night too. They had a band. Yeah. They'd sing and play the band both.
So when you were growing up, everybody was driving vehicles at that time, right?
You know what?
Everyone was driving vehicles into town at that time.
Well, yeah, they were starting to, yeah.
Yeah.
Not many, though. When I went to high school, there was not one student that had a car. And I graduated in 40.
Mm-hmm.
There was one guy that had a horse and a buggy. He lived out of town a ways, and he'd take that to the school and tied it across the street. And the school was over, he'd drive it home. But there were no cars. And later on, well, maybe in 40 there was, but not 38 and 39, I don't think there was. And then when they did get cars, then there was always an hour off at dinner from 12 to 1. Everybody would jump in their cars and they'd drive around town.
That's all right.
They stopped that. No cars at noon in town.
Trouble, huh?
Yeah, kids couldn't drive at noon. And there was a curfew at 9 o'clock. You better be off the streets.
Well, I remember that growing up. They had the siren that went off.
Yeah, there was a siren too. And the police chief's name was Jostin, Jostin, Jostin. If he'd catch you, he'd take you by the ear and bring you to the house to your parents if you were on the street after 9 o'clock. It was pretty quiet. Oh yeah, that was the younger days. And then graduated from high school in 1940. Well, that's me again. Bayer was always working with my dad. In the last 3 years of my high school, I would go out to the farm by Jefferson, work on the farm. But Bayer always stayed with my dad and worked in the shop. Bayer got to be a professional tailor. He was very good. And I never got to be that good. I could do some tailoring though. But yeah, and then I graduated from high school, and what to do. I never studied in high school. All I did was have fun. And and I did. Because I never thought I'd go to college. We didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd probably, maybe someday Bayer and I would take over the dry cleaning and I'd be a businessman. Because business was good.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then in 1940, over the radio, Pearl Harbor was attacked. And that changed the life for Bayer and me and Art and my folks and everybody. So Bayer and Art were drafted. They went in the Army. Bayer was in the Army 4 years and never got to go home one time. No furlough. And I don't know all the places he went. He went quite a few places in the United States and got trained. Then they sent him overseas. He went to North Africa and was quite a bit there in the campaign there in the war. And from there he went to Sicily and to Rome and France and Germany, all through the wars. They sent him then to England, get ready for D-Day, for the big invasion. And Art was in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, doing guard duty for a year and a half, or 2 years, I guess. And he sent him to England. And Bayer and Art met each other over there and spent a day or two together. And then when D-Day come, both of them went on D-Day, first day, went into France. That was a big invasion. I don't know how many, thousands of airplanes at one time and thousands of ships went in. It was a bloody day, but Yeah, Bayer went through that, and he got the gold, the Bronze Star, I think, and the Purple Heart, and some other medals too. They said he was very brave. Anybody got hurt, he would take care of them no matter how much they got shot up and how sick they were, and give them a lot of codeine. A lot of codeine in those days, and sulfa powder. He didn't give them shots yet. But, yeah, they was through an awful lot of bad stuff. But he got the Purple Heart, but he didn't get hurt too bad. He got shot. But he came home, and Art came home, and I came home, and kid brother Max got into the Korean War, and he came home. We all came home. We were very fortunate. Yeah. And then Baylor, Art and I, we was busy in the dry cleaning. We all had something to do. And then Art worked for a variety store. He roasted sunflower seeds, sent them all over. Finally, Fisher Company bought him out. So then he lost that job. But then he got a job in the Army shortly after that. Yeah, those were the days.
So how did, well, Judy,
Judy?
wonderful sister of yours.
Oh, Judy, I had one sister. Well, I made a big picture of her too, but I had that in large. I got a big picture of her somewhere. But think,
Always had a smile, didn't she?
I don't think it's in this book, or is it? I don't know. I just had that done a little, very short time ago. I was in Mankato. What did I do with that picture? Well, I got it in one of the books, but I had it made this, about this big, you know.
Oh, nice.
And it came out very nice. This is a picture of Judy when we were in that VFW building, 1936. Yeah, she was a perfect sister. Everybody in town called her an angel. Her church, they thought the world of her. Yeah, they thought the world of her. And she was so decent, calm. She was calm.
Well, she was a lot like Bayer, wasn't she, too?
Yeah,
That's what they'd say.
setback or low key or whatever you want of it.
Yeah.
Didn't want any trouble. Very calm, very nice.
She always put on
Well,
a
Bayer
feast.
didn't want trouble either, but he had it anyway. He had a lot of trouble.
She always put on a feast, didn't she?
Huh?
She always put on a feast. The table.
Feast table?
Table was always.
Oh, they were good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lois was good at putting them on. Bayer.
Well, I mean Judy too. Judy.
Oh yeah,
You know.
but well,
So what did you guys do when you were
worked out
kids?
all right. He had three nice children, and
Oh, that's kind of you, thank you.
worked out okay. But I was always hoping maybe he could have found a girl like I found. But no, I shouldn't say that either. But would have been nice.
Yeah. Well, how about when you were kids playing together? You know, the park was across the street from you for some of the time, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when I think of kids today, they were playing on their iPads and their iPod. What'd you do?
Do what?
You rode the bike, I guess.
Oh,
bike,
sure.
and
Oh,
went
sure.
fishing, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
Go to the park and goof around, maybe, yeah.
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 It was fun in the park. Right across the street, we were there quite a bit.
You couldn't beat that. You didn't have to take care of it
We
either.
had our own park.
How about Judy? What was she? What'd she do?
Well, she met Eddie when she was, that picture there, 1936. I think there she was going with Eddie already. And I don't know what year they got married, but 1940, I think. Yeah.
Just before
And
they.
they had five kids or six. And Eddie, he was such a nice guy. God, I liked him. He died young. He had a heart attack. He was 36, I think. He died with a heart attack.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of heart attack stuff in our family.
Yeah.
I didn't have a heart attack, but I had. Yeah, I guess I did. I had a heart attack, but wasn't all that bad. I survived with 75% of my heart I still got. So.
But that came from your mother's side, didn't it?
It was a heart attack, they said.
Wasn't that from your mother's side, the heart
Yeah,
problems?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Judy had it. Bayer had it.
Mm-hmm.
I had it. My dad died from stomach cancer, which is a very painful type of cancer. And the doctor my mother was gone already, and my dad lived upstairs. And the doctor was just a half a block away down the street,
Mm-hmm.
where the chiropractor is now. He would come up to the house and give him a morphine shot. And he suffered and suffered. All he would do, he'd sit and watch, what is the name of that? Gunfire, Gun Street,
Gunsmoke?
Gun what?
Gunsmoke?
Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
You watched a lot of those. Finally, it was so painful. The doctor came up. He says, he says, your dad isn't for long. He says, we better take him to the hospital. And he took him to the hospital. He died the same day.
Mm-hmm.
He called us in and couldn't talk to him. He was breathing, and they had him on oxygen, and he was breathing, and finally he just quit.
So how about, you guys as kids, though, did you have hobbies, too?
Who?
Did you guys have hobbies or anything like that? Or just, you were working quite a bit, too, or probably even when you were young.
What kind of hobby I would have? Mostly going out with the girls. Because my dad, he let me use the car whenever I wanted. And I was in high school.
Well,
Nobody else had a car, just me.
what was the age for a
He had a
license?
37 Ford. It was almost new when my dad bought it. He used a little bit. 37 Ford. And I'd get all of my buddies together and we'd go to St. James and celebrate. A lot of fun. And we'd go to Wyndham too to watch movies. And
So your dad didn't have to worry about you, or you just didn't get caught?
no, he was glad to get rid of me, I
Oh.
think. He'd get going. I don't know about that, but he let me use it. We'd go to roller skating at St. James and movies.
No.
We had a good time.
So how about your mother was probably real soft.
She was.
Uh-huh.
Her and Judy were very soft.
Close too, I bet they were, huh?
Yeah, good. Had a wonderful mother. Yeah. She didn't want no trouble either.
Uh-huh.
Very soft. Yeah.
But your dad, he was stronger.
Well, he was strong.
Yeah.
Strong. And
Businessman.
had to be. Raised
Businessman.
5 kids and no money, we
Yeah.
had to support the family
Yeah.
and work.
Yeah.
Work. That's all he did. Work. Finally, got a little better and he bought a 1950 brand new one then, 50 Ford. With 6-cylinder. And he let me use that all I wanted. I said, Lee, you and I are going to Chicago for a little trip. So we did, but that damn car, you'd come to a stop sign and it'd quit. we'd have to start it up again. And my dad took it to 3 different garages after I got back from Chicago, and they couldn't fix it in Mountain Lake. He should have took it someplace else, I don't know, but he couldn't fix it. So he traded that for a new Chevrolet Coupe. You ever see a picture of that one? Beautiful car. Blue and white. 2-door with a variable transmission. You had to warm it up first. It would slip in the winter. It'd be all right, but once it got going, it was smooth as silk. I don't know where I have a picture of that, but I know I do. 2-door coupe, and when my dad died, we put our stuff up. We had our own auction among ourselves, all of us kids. We could bid on it. And
worked out nice.
Nobody really bid against it, so Judy got the car, red. He drove it quite a while, but they didn't take care of it either. That dad, he was something else. But I never liked it, but I drove it quite a bit. I took my dad to Minneapolis in it a couple of times.
Well, he had some work in University Hospital, didn't he, too?
Hmm?
Didn't he have some health problems, too, at the...
Yeah, he
University?
had, my dad had tic douloureux in his cheek. They say that's the world's worst pain. It's just like you get hit with a needle. And it would come on just like that. And he couldn't stand it, so he went. I took him to chiropractors. I took him to South Dakota and another one. No good. So took him up to General Hospital in Minneapolis, and they tried something. They shot alcohol in there to kill the nerves, and that worked for a little while. Worked for, I don't know how long, maybe several months or a year, half a year maybe. Came back, so I had to take him up there again. I still have all the letters the doctor sent back and forth about it. And he says, the only way I can do it for you, John, is if I operate and to cut the nerves. And he says, you may not like it, but you'll never have another pain. My dad said, go ahead. So they cut a hole in his side of his head about a quarter, and they went in there and they mashed all the nerves. Killed the nerves. No more pain.
How about his face?
But his face was numb on that side. He said it always felt different. Kind of odd. He didn't like it, but no pain.
Yeah. Pain was pretty intense. So.
Intense pain, yeah. And while I took him up there, Lee was along, and my mother. We stayed at your mother's place. And we ate supper there, and I know Clarence was supposed to bring home some bread. And we were sitting at the table, and we didn't start to eat yet. And here he comes after work from the barber shop, and he had the bread. And Lois's mother said, gee, God, she was loud. Really hot. Wrong kind of bread. Took that bread and threw it right in the garbage. Right in front of all of us. God. Boy, my mother didn't like that. So Lois has a background too. She must inherit some of that. And I can understand that, but I'm glad I didn't have to grow up that way. No, I'm real fortunate.
So here's a question for you. When you guys were out in the service, you were getting letters from Dad and Mom occasionally.
What was that?
You were getting letters from Dad and Mom occasionally, I imagine. They sent letters to you, you sent letters home, right?
We were what?
During the war. you were out, gone from
Yeah,
home,
we were all
so
gone.
You were getting letters, and you were sending letters home.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My mother wrote me a lot of letters.
Yeah,
My
so-
dad too.
Both of them, I presume, worried. I mean, like any
God,
other parents.
they worried a lot. Yeah, they worried a lot. Yeah, my mother her handwriting was nice. My dad's wasn't very good, but my mother could
Yeah, I
speak
saw
good
that.
English, and she was very intelligent that way. Yeah, but my dad, well, he only did was work, you know. He could write English. He wrote me letters,
I
but
saw
you can
that.
tell the difference between his writing and my mother's.
Yeah, yeah.
But the sentiment was the same, but the handwriting was different.
Well, she did a lot more writing of letters, didn't she?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Yeah, she wrote to Bayer, she wrote to Art, she wrote to Max, wrote to me, and she was worried. I know I was so surprised one letter she said something, I wish they would kill that damn Hitler, she said. Never heard her ever express anything like that before. She was mad at Hitler, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad came to this country. He thought, now he can raise his family and we're free of war. And not so.
Yeah.
Not so. Well, my Uncle Gus, he was in the First World War in the Army.
Oh.
And he got sick real bad. And he sent him to Denver to the hospital. He was there a long time. Soldiers were dying off pretty fast, you know. He was getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they call it. Was it flu or what it was? It was all over. Yeah. You know, my young brother Max, he had infantile paralysis. His one arm was thin compared to the other arm, and no strength with it. I was surprised they took him in the Army. But they did. Yeah, he went to Korea, and then he went to Japan. He was there quite a while. But we all got back home safely.
And you guys all the family got along really well together, didn't they?
Huh?
I always recall everyone who got along really well.
Oh yeah, we got along good. Art and I didn't get along too good for a while. He made me so damn mad. He's supposed to be working, he'd go uptown, he wouldn't come back, and he's supposed to do the cleaning, you know, dry cleaning.
Well, did Art?
But later on, we got to be really close. When he was in Chicago, I bet he wrote me a letter every day.
He wrote me too.
Did he?
Yeah, every week he wrote me.
Well, he wrote me every
Yeah,
day.
Did he get along with your dad? Art?
Oh yeah,
They did.
oh yeah, he got along with Bayer, but with me, I made me so damn mad. But the war changed all that. Yeah. Well, you and I were together in Chicago with Art.
Oh yeah, we
We
did that
went to
number
a
of years.
White Sox game.
hmm
Yeah.
Walked around the canal.
You walked around the town.
Went to Harry Carey's. Went to the Cubs stadium there
Yeah.
too.
And then we went to Art's funeral together
Yeah,
too.
yeah, we did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Those were the days.
Well, I think he liked that a lot because I don't think there were many others that went out to visit him.
Not from here.
No.
I think I was the only one.
Yeah, every year we'd go out and
Yeah,
Take a
yeah,
trip.
I think I was the only one that took Lee along sometimes.
I went and visited him in college too. Another guy and myself, we jumped in a car and we went out and
Did another guy?
from college, and we went out and stayed with him for a little while. Art.
Oh, to college's farm.
No. When I was in college,
Oh,
we jumped in a car and spring break, and we went out and stayed with him for a while.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right, we did.
Yeah, and he took us to
Yeah.
the bar next door. And
Yeah, a lot of things I can't remember unless somebody brings them up and then think about them, you know.
He's
Yeah.
always
Yeah, let's see. You
Good host.
You was asking here, how did the Depression change things for the Ross family? Well, it probably done us some good. We learned how to live without anything, and
Mhm.
when we got something, we really were satisfied, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that was probably the same with everybody. But I know we lived without. We were poor, and farmers, of course, town people had it tough. Farmers, at least they had some chickens and food to eat, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
if we wanted something to eat, we had to buy it. It was
Yeah.
hard to get any money.
Well, then you had the stamps, didn't you, too, during the war?
Food stamps?
Yeah, whatever that was.
I don't think so.
You,
I know we got ration cards for gasoline
card,
for
oh,
our
yeah.
car.
oh,
And then the president, Roosevelt, I guess how was that? I don't know if it was food stamps, but it was, you were just allowed to buy so much of this and so much of that. You couldn't buy much meat. It's just 1 pound for so many days or something like that.
uh-huh.
But they didn't give you the money to buy it. All they would tell you, that's all you could buy.
Was there a little bit of?
I don't think Bayer had a hobby. He was good at ice skating, though.
Oh, was it?
They flooded a field around town with water. The city did. He made an ice skating rink, and Bayer, first thing Bayer was playing with, he had teams. He played hockey, and he broke his arm.
Oh,
So they took him to Dr. Piper, which was wrong, and he said it, and you could almost, without anything, he just said it. Hurt like hell. You could almost hear him half over the town. Bayer hollered so loud it hurt.
mm-hmm.
And then he put it together and sent Bayer home, and I don't know how much longer it was. It wasn't too much longer, maybe a couple months, I don't know. It didn't heal. So he had to go back to him again, and he reset it again.